could bite out my tongue for the things I've said and the things I'm going to say, but as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why?
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horst Vandergelder?
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you that. I would rather die on the rack than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I am marrying Horst Vandergelder for one reason, and one reason alone, Minnie. To get away from this military business. I hate hats.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Mrs. Malloy.
Don't protest, Minnie. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go to restaurants or balls or theaters. It's all the proof they need. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horst Vandergelder, or I break out of this place like a fire engine. Oh no, not Miss Mortimer again.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie, leave it be. You can make another hat for Miss Mortimer if you'd like. I'm wearing this one myself.
Mrs. Malloy, you can't. You're a widow, and that hat, well, it's provocative, that's what.
Is it, Minnie? Well, who knows who may walk into the shop today, and provocative may be just what I want to be.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer, blue and green and streaming in that yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by, and so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch a gentleman's eye, and he might smile and take me by the hand this summer, making me recall how lovely love can be. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back, shining in my hair, that he might notice me. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back, shining in my hair, that he might notice me.
Mrs. Malloy, wild horses can't make me ask this next question I'm about to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Do you love Horst Vandergelder?
No, Minnie, I don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love. And I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman, as long as it's true love, and it was that. Minnie, look! There's two men staring at the shop.
Men?
Why, I do believe they mean to come in here.
Men in the shop? Oh, Mrs. Malloy, what shall we do?
Do? Why, flirt with them, of course. I'll give you the short one.
And you with all that talk about love.
love enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of adventure I could do with now. We'll get 'em all heated up, then drop 'em cold. It'll be good practice for married life. Now, you go into the workroom, Minnie. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a bit of a wait will only make them nervous and easier for us to...
If you say vampire, I'll scream.
Vampire! And so, I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch a gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this one yet.
We'll get an adventure out of this yet, Barnaby. All day long, we walk around New York and nothing happens. And then we go to the quietest street in the town, and suddenly, Vandergelder! Is he still out there? Go look. He's sitting on that bench. Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure? Oh, you don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know it. Now, how much money do we have left? Not much. 40 cents for the train back, 30 cents for dinner, 20 cents to see the whale. I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure that's 90 cents. You know, Barnaby, I think we're gonna have to act like customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe if we make them think that we're rich, we won't have to spend anything at all. We're just two men about town looking for some hats for ladies. Hello, Mrs.
Malloy.
Whoa! Here, Cornelius Hackle. Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, we're just two ladies about
and
town
we're here by
looking for some
some
hats.
a hat,
Boy,
ladies.
we want a hat. For a lady, of course, and everybody said to come to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. I mean, her hats are so pretty.
And so reasonable. As reasonable as under $1 to still leave us enough to see the wheel.
You've got to pay him no mind, man. He's come all the way from Yonkers to come see us stop the whale. Go look at that street, Barnaby. Maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with mean little red eyes?
Yeah. It's sitting on that bench.
Excuse me, but did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Yes, ma'am, Yonkers, and forgive me for saying this, but you should really see Yonkers sometime. By that I mean Mr. Malloy should see Yonkers sometime as well.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have loved to have seen Yonkers, especially in that hat. On you, of course, not Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Oh, well, don't let that worry you. I'd be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you should ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I would love to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I may be there sooner than you think.
Really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
You do?
Perhaps you know him.
Perhaps we do.
Although it's usually silly to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Horace Vandergelder?
Vandergelder, hay and feed?
Do you know him?
No.
Mr. Vandergelder's a substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
A lovely man, Mrs. Malloy. Just lovely. Has only one fault as far as I'm sure. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think.
Well now, perhaps your friend might like this one.
Look out! Begging your pardon, Mr. Blake.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
We've got no time to explain. Please help us.
Come out of there this minute!
We're as innocent as can be, Mrs. Malloy, I promise.
Well, really, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I demand you both get out of there this
bench outside of your shop 30 minutes ago. And when I make an appointment, I like people to be on time. Here, a gift for you, chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder? What would two men be doing in a lady's hat shop? Well now, let's go back into my workroom. I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, Mr. Vandergelder, what's new in the hay and feed business? I hear you have 3 friends, all hard as nails.
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a beautiful city.
Yes, and who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend?
What friend?
Well, you see, he's
He?
a customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. He was in here buying hats for ladies. You might even know him. Although it's usually foolish to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's, Mr. Cornelius Hackle?
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
Oh, he just so happens to be my head clerk, is all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation for this.
And I'm gonna give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Why, everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He's in the Opera House and all the fashionable homes. Why, he's even at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
That's impossible. He only has $146.30-something cents, and I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, you're killing me, Mr. Vandergelder. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
Which one?
The Panama. Both.
It ain't the same man.
Ain't the same man. Who took the horses off of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled it through the streets? Cornelius Hackle! And who, might I ask you, dressed up as a waiter at the Fifth Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's... I can't say that, but it was Cornelius Hackle. He's the playboy of New York. Now, don't be shy, Irene. I can tell you were taken with him just like everybody else here.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only met this man once in my life. Of course. Ah! Minnie, hold your tongue. There's a man in there.
What? If there's a man
No,
in
you
the...
can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in a lady's closet is too dangerous for me. Now stand aside, Mrs. Levi.
No man indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. Why, I'm sure you'd make short work of any man. Those muscles, I can see them now rippling back and forth under your coat. Ripple, 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 back and forth. Ripple, ripple.
For the last time, Mrs. Levi, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's what the courts will want to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land? I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot much more than take off your hat. Sir Betsy Ross's flag is passing. Do you see it on the hill at Gettysburg? He's the great triumphal arch. If you see him as he's trampling through the grapes of wrath, then march, march, march. Has this not affected you, sir? I think you're
right, Mr. Vandergelder. There is a man in the cupboard.
I knew it.
And another one under the table.
What the devil?
And there happens to be a very simple explanation. But for the present, good afternoon.
My, oh my, this room's crawling with men. I'll never get over it. I suppose this means I'll see you later, Mr. Vandergelder.
You certainly will, Mrs. Levi. And as for you, Mrs. Malloy, good day.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything.
I do not wish to hear any explanation, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure of leaving my shop at once, or I'll send for Officer Goggerty.
Oh, I don't know, Irene. Calling an officer might be letting these two off a little too easily. I've been adding up the legal offenses of these two, and believe me, you've got grounds for 2 writs, an accomplice menace, and a garnishee. Now, the main thing to do is try and show that you settled it amicably first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Is that absolutely necessary, Dolly?
It's the way of the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and myself to dinner.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. Now, I hear there's a very nice restaurant down by the railroad station.
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If the Harmonia Gardens is good enough for your fashionable friends, it's good enough for us. I hear they have a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
Oh, no, we couldn't go there, Mrs. Malloy. Now, don't get me wrong. It isn't the money or anything. It's the whale! It's the whale! No, it isn't the whale, Barnaby. It's the dancing. You see, they have dancing in places like that, exhibitions, even contests. I don't know how, and it would take weeks, months, years to learn.
Mrs. Dolly Levi, 33-year-old chief clerk, taught how to dance?
Now, it's very simple. You put one arm here and one arm there.
Oh, it's no use. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. Just give me 5 minutes of your time and I'll have you dancing in the street. We'll start with lesson 7, the waltz kick turn. Ready? Right foot to touch, left foot to touch, under, over, around, touch, over, back, around, through, release, unfurl. Oh, wonderful, Mr. Hackle. When I think of the women that'll find heaven in your arms. Let's start with lesson 1. Put your hand on her waist and stand with her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Whoa, I'm dancing. Oh, I was.
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle. Take the someone whose arms you're in. Hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Look, I'm dancing.
Turn around, try floating through the air. Can't you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
The word I think I use is athletic.
For my heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, who cares if I ever stop? Look at me, everybody. I, Cornelius Hackle, sport, am dancing.
You're next, Mr. Tucker. Glide and step, and then step and glide.
And everyone stand aside.
hit.